What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. So today is Sunday, and if you had a look at the markets recently, well, we're going to get into that in just a second. That being said, I wanted to give a shout out to Alp from the CryptoZombies community. Thank you for this awesome picture. I like how you put the registered on the CryptoZombie shirt. And also, guys, unfortunately, this is what we're waking up to today. I feel really bad. So I do have another t-shirt we can give away. I have a size small this time. So maybe you can give this to, you know, if you have maybe a kid in the family or something like that, or you might just be a very petite individual. So if you'd like a size small, drop that below in the comments. Now, I want to have a look at what is going on right now in the markets because I was awake this morning. We were looking at it. Everything was fine. We were just treading along. And the main concern was the volume. That's what everyone was talking about, and it looks like, well, Bitcoin finally did take another dump. If we have a look right here, you see the dominance has shot up to 52.8. We have a $3,585 Bitcoin, 32-cent XRP, and $119 Ethereum. Are there any gainers today? Not really major, but you have Populous up 6%, Repo 2%, Insight 2%, Aurora, Elastos 1.2, and that's really it. Then we just go into stablecoin territory, guys. So having a look at this is the chart if you woke up this morning. All right, now we were looking right here at this really low volume, saying to ourselves, when is this thing gonna move? And there was no volume, and eventually some order got triggered somewhere, and it just created a cascade, and we have officially dumped. Now, having a look at this morning, I had this pulled up. I obviously refreshed it, but you could see how the volume has recently spiked up. But if we go back to, let's say, like a month, you know, you could see we had a lot higher highs. We had, 22 billion over here. I mean, even all through here, look, 14, 15, 16, even in the low spots, 14, 13 is where it was starting to get a little low. And then right here this morning, we were sitting around 13.3 billion. And, well, we know the rest of the story from there. So the question is a $3,000 Bitcoin unavoidable at this point? I mean, no one's trying to spread FUD, but we keep dumping, right? So as the volume continues to slowly descend, Bitcoin could see more sideways ranging movements or the dump. Now, this article came out before the dump, but everything within it still stands pretty true. So the combined valuation of all cryptos has fallen over 100 billion since just November. We've been taking hit after hit after hit. Is this capitulation? What stage is this? Well, obviously, there's a lot of disparity. There's a lot of negativity. I mean, you read all these different, if you go in any group, it's always just how low is it going to go? How low is it going to go, right? So the sentiment is definitely negative right now. And considering the lack of momentum in cryptocurrencies and the inability for Bitcoin to be able to break out of its key resistance, well, it's not surprising that we're seeing it go lower and lower and lower again, and we are waiting for that catalyst. So as Bitcoin does approach that $3,000 region, similar to its corrective rally in mid-December, it could initiate a relatively sharp trigger, okay? So we could see it where if it falls below 3, it could have that instant pullback, you know what I'm saying? Where, it's just massively, but it also could be a very boring, depressing Q1 and 2 of this year, and that's more of what we've been looking at. We've been looking more towards May, right? More towards the year leading up to the halvening. So after Q2, most likely is when we're anticipating a turnaround. So if you look at what Don Alt was saying, he says that he's been relatively inactive. He's a trader. If you guys don't know, he posts a lot on Twitter. He says there just hasn't been anything to trade. I wouldn't be surprised if 2019 plays out like this. Boring, choppy, and frustrating. The worst thing you could do is force trades when your system doesn't give you any. So he says that could be what we're looking at moving forward. But hey, Hey, I don't want to ruin everybody's party because today is a very special day. It's the 1-year anniversary of this tweet, which started the exit scam of the infamous Bitconeeeect. So you can see right here, 1 year ago, it says we've been under continuous DDoS attack, which inevitably affects our service. Well, we know that's a lie. We're mitigating as fast as we can. It may take up to 24 hours. We will update you once it's under control. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause.
So guys, let me tell you, I love Bitconeeeect!
Okay. So, I wanted to also mention one of the things, a lot of people last year, we were just trying to find those 10x, 100x, 20x, 30x gains, right? And even in my Crypto Zombies community, a lot of people tend to talk about altcoins because altcoins have a better potential for gains, right? Because Bitcoin being number one, it's very difficult to move a market cap that high, right? I mean, for example, just looking at Bitcoin right now, if we go over here, Bitcoin has a $64 billion market cap. So if you want Bitcoin to double in price or you want a 2x, you need $64 billion to come in to Bitcoin. Whereas, let's go down here. Say I wanted, I don't know, just going to pick any coin. Say I wanted Elastos to double. Well, Elastos only has 33.8 million. So it would only need another 33.8 million to double, right? So that's basically that purpose right there. A lot of people say you make bigger gains. However, if we look at this chart from all-time high coinindex.com, you could see that Bitcoin is down 81% from its all-time high. Now that's a lot, by any standards. But if you look at everything else, look, XRP, 90%, Ethereum, 91%, EOS, 89%. Bitcoin Cash, 96, Stellar, 87. Now, I'm not going to count Tether because it's a stable coin, which is crazy, though, for being a stable coin, how it actually touched $1.32. But yeah, you can go down here and you can see a lot of these guys. In fact, the lower you go on this list, you start to find some. Yeah, some of these, look at these, 98.3, 96, really, really high losses. So the point that I'm trying to make is there was this article that came out and, a lot of people say, well, why Bitcoin fundamentals thrived amid a 2018 downturn? And also, why was Bitcoin the best hedge, right? Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, it is number one. It does have the most liquidity. It is the one that everyone looks at, right? But not only did Bitcoin outperform pretty much all the other altcoins on the lower rung of crypto, but the fundamental performance of the asset's underlying networks also improved as well. So in an extensive report by Jameson Lopp, he's the chief of technology at crypto solutions provider Kaza, he explained that by any metric other than price, the system is improving and growing among a number of other bullish statistics. For example, the number of Bitcoin ATMs rose by 100% last year, which was pretty incredible. Also, let's not forget that the network's hash rate doubled. This all came at a time when the crypto community was growing massively. We saw Reddit break milestones at all different users, right? And on top of the fact, we had a successful SegWit integration as well as massive amount of work that was done on the Lightning Network, even just in the end of last year, the Q4, right? So you also had Tom Lee of Fundstrat claiming that Bitcoin is the best house in a tough neighborhood. So a majority of crypto pushes from financial institutions have been centered around Bitcoin. Physically backed futures contracts are going to start with Bitcoin, right? And you're seeing a lot of other ETFs pushing as well, but they're pushing for Bitcoin, right? So we do know that Bitcoin is that like almost gateway drug, I guess, the gateway crypto, right? So that's another reason why Bitcoin tends to outperform long-term over a lot of these other assets, right? And while there aren't institutions actively investing in companies bolstering Bitcoin's fundamentals, many have claimed that this influx of interest has pushed industry builders to refocus their efforts on Bitcoin. So as the age-old saying goes, follow the money, right? So Eric Connor, he's a leading Ethereum proponent. He took to his Twitter also to talk about the death spiral of low to mid-cap cryptocurrencies. He explained that due to 2018's bear market, some of the cryptocurrencies have seen hash rates disappear basically almost down to nothing, creating an environment for really cheap proof of work attacks. He says right here, right? Low mid-cap coin death spiral, low hash rate due to bear, cheap 51% attack, price drop and hash drop, cheaper 51% attack, exchange delisting due to loss from double spends, chain takeover and nowhere to trade. I expect to see this story a lot moving forward in 2019. Now, speaking on the legacy of Bitcoin and how long it's been around for. Yesterday, I think it was Miss J made a comment in the video about the Lindy Effect, right? And whether or not something would be able to continue to thrive, especially as a technology. Now, when we're talking about human beings, okay, human beings, we don't really work the same way as the Lindy Effect does, right? I mean, after childhood, your mortality rate increases, right? The chances of you dying increase the older you get. Well, that's not the case with things like Bitcoin, for example. So just to reiterate, the Lindy Effect is a concept that the future life expectancy of some non-perishable thing like a technology or an idea is proportional to their current age, so that every additional period of survival implies a longer remaining life expectancy. So where the Lindy Effect applies, mortality rate decreases with time. So the longer something's been around, the longer it will be around. This is the really famous chart by Mustat Murad on Twitter, where he talks about adoption to Bitcoin becoming a full global money, and this is passage of time versus the Lindy Effect. I'll drop that below. You guys can have a look. Now, talking about consulting giant McKinsey that came out with their report the other day, was a little bit negative, wasn't exactly the brightest report we'd ever seen, right? So there were some people responding to this, but just to reiterate, the report went on to detail emerging doubts regarding crypto technology, with the report title referring to Occam's razor, the concept that the simplest answer or solution is often the best one. The implication here, of course, is that blockchain technology is not the simplest solution, right? Well, we've had some crypto firms responding. So the first that you got is CEO Angel Vercetti of blockchain supply chain tracking company Ambrosis acknowledged that blockchain hype had clouded expectations, but firmly asserted that it is being used for its intended use case, and blockchain is indeed the best solution by far. So he's basically saying that blockchain still really works great for what it does. It's just that we hyped it up so much. There were so many promises coming out in late 2017 and early 2018 that, when these guys weren't delivering on these things, we're expecting life-changing technology in a matter of months. Everybody's investing in ICOs. Well, that's where it got a little bit fuzzy for everybody. But he goes on to say that the report claims that competing emerging technologies are hindering the progress of blockchain. However, I think there is no technology that really competes with blockchain in terms of its core value proposition, which is censorship-resistant, universally trusted ledger of transactions and contracts with no central point of failure. Blockchain won't solve all the problems in the world, but in the core value proposition of data integrity and immutability, blockchain is in fact king. Now, guys, let's talk about this story before we get on. I want to, just because I like to throw in these random stories. So let's talk about Pablo Escobar's brother. Okay, so having allegedly been blocked from fundraising on GoFundMe, the brother of deceased drug lord Pablo Escobar has launched a cryptocurrency apparently targeting the impeachment of U.S. President Donald Trump. So the new token has been dubbed the Escobar and is an Ethereum ERC20 based stablecoin. It claims that will be pegged to the U.S. dollar. What? The project was founded by Escobar's elder brother Roberto. Wait. So some guy that's making a impeach Trump fund with a coin is pegging it to the U.S. dollar? I think that's kind of funny. That's just me. Anyway, CEO at Escobar Incorporated, the CEO told NextWeb that the plan had been to raise $50 million via GoFundMe. Why you need $50 million for a stablecoin, I don't know. That they titled Bye Bye Trump, but after their campaign was blocked on the platform, they decided to immediately launch the token. So after raising $10 million in just 10 hours, we were shut down by GoFundMe, and within 24 hours, launched the Escobar stablecoin. That's all it took, was 24 hours to get the new coin up and running. To avoid anyone censoring us, again, we believe the Trump administration or the president probably shut us down. I don't know, or GoFundMe, Escobar Incorporated previously released another crypto called Diet Bitcoin. I'm sure you've all heard of that. No, you haven't heard of Diet Bitcoin? Oh, Well, that's strange. Anyway, so this is the website right here. I mean, look at this. 1 Escobar stablecoin equals 1 USD. Who was buying this? Who were the 10 million people that originally... Oh, man. Well, there you go, guys. There you go. So moving on to some other news, I do want to talk about some potential censorship now that's been happening again. It looks like ads that are mentioning Ethereum are being blocked by Google. So we had Google and Facebook and all these other guys really slamming down the hammer, right? They were blocking and banning all these crypto-related ads. Obviously, things like... I don't know, this could have had something to do with it. But yeah, so long story short, it looks like Dissenter, they're claiming that there's apparently a ban on the keyword Ethereum. So other cryptocurrency phrases that they've tried out, like Bitcoin or even ICO or even EOS, turned out to be perfectly fine. So curiously, when using the Ethereum keyword, the group claims to get a location error with this right here. It says, this candidate is not permitted to show ads in your target audience. So basically, this is the error message that they're getting right here. And it says, Google responded publicly to Dissenter's concerns on the microblogging platform, but the interaction shed no light on the matter. Google's respondent first essentially just repeated the error message again. Don't you love when you finally get through and they just tell you the same thing the message has been telling you the whole time? And then referred Dissenter to the Google Ads policy page, which offered guidelines for advertising financial products and services, which then said ads for cryptocurrency exchanges are allowed in the following countries: Japan, United States, but it wasn't even an exchange anyway. So yeah, I mean, we don't know if this is an isolated incident or we don't know if this is going to be something that's happening to a bunch. So I guess within a couple days, we'll probably know if more people are having issues using the word Ethereum. And then if that's the case, well, then it looks like Ethereum is being censored by Google, and we literally have taken, 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, basically, is what's happening. So moving on, I want to talk about one positive story before we move into the big news of the day. What is going on with Bitmain, guys? So I want to talk about some free Bitcoin. Everybody loves free Bitcoin, right? It's currently up for grabs if you can solve this puzzle. So popular street artist Pascal Boyart, aka P-Boy, created a mural in Paris hiding over $1,000 worth of Bitcoin for the public. P-Boy tweeted the public key, but to recover it, somebody would have to actually crack the private code. So this is pretty much what it looks like here, as you guys can see. Now, this is a little bit of a tribute to this down here. Now, this one right here is called The Liberty Leading the People. And this is the original, artwork that the inspiration was based off of, right? So, let me see down here. Okay, so it says it depicts the July Revolution of 1830 that toppled King Charles X of France. So that was the original thing. Anyway, talking about this, his rendition, which combines crypto with art, has a call to action. So it tells people to go to the streets. So he tweeted this and he said, for the 10th birthday of the Genesis block, I painted this fresco in Paris with a 0.26 Bitcoin, $1,000 at the time, puzzle in it. In order to solve the puzzle, you actually have to physically be in front of the mural. So sorry for everybody that's watching right now. Apparently, you have to actually be there. The Bitcoin puzzle now has 0.284 Bitcoin inside. Since the public key is... everyone can see it, I guess a few more people have donated to it. So that's pretty cool. So whoever wins, you're going to get a little bit more money. The current treasure hunt is ongoing and no one has currently cracked the puzzle. At time of making this video, I don't know, a video could go out, somebody could have solved it, but at the time, no one solved it. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Now for the story that we've all been waiting for, let's talk about what is going on with Bitmain. So it looks like they reportedly halted all of their operations in Texas, where it was building a cryptocurrency mine. Now, this mine, located in the Alcoa power plant and smelter outside the tiny industrial town of Rockdale, Texas, was supposed to be the largest mine in the country once finished, okay? But it looks like now this has been halted. Well, we already know that Jihan Wu and, another have also stepped down as their chief operating positions. This news also followed after months of speculation about Bitmain losing billions in its final quarter of 2018. Don't forget, earlier they reported more than half of their staff, including the team, which is working on the Bitcoin Cash client, could potentially be losing their jobs. The ones that were involved in Bitcoin, they got let go. Bitcoin Cash, they got let go. They also closed their blockchain research and development center in Tel Aviv in July. Not a good year for Bitmain, okay? Now, we do know that Bitmain is the largest Bitcoin cryptocurrency miners out there. So what does this mean? They're having an issue. They're struggling, right? I mean, as of, just January 11th, which is only a few days ago, Bitmain had 31 million worth of Bitcoins in their wallet. The wallet balance revealed that it seems like they're selling as the price is falling and holding as it's rising. Okay, I mean, holding while it's going up, selling when it's going down. Decent strategy, I guess. Electron Cash, a Bitcoin SV wallet, also revealed that a Bitcoin wallet whose balances turned to zero on the day of the Bitcoin Cash fork could potentially be Bitmain's wallet. Don't forget, they also announced that they were going to allocate a large amount of their hash power to support one of the Bitcoin Cash blockchains, and that was the one that's being led by Roger Ver, the Bitcoin Cash ABC, BCH, whatever you want to call it this day, but that's what's going on. Now, on top of that, we had media reports already revealing that Bitmain was facing financial losses up to $700 million. So the crash in the crypto market choked Bitmain's source of revenue. Now, if Bitmain wants to stay in support of the ABC camp, well, it's going to need fiat in hand to pay for its mining resources. So it then had to balance out its Bitcoin, and they're thinking that this is why the Bitcoin Cash SV wallet went to zero. So it looks like currently they're holding 8,490 Bitcoin, which is a representation of 0.049% of the total mined coins, which isn't an insane amount, but it could be enough to potentially disrupt the space. So yeah, I mean, guys, this is just a thing right here. I mean, we don't know what'll happen. I mean, it'll probably drop if they do just go under and shut down. It's going to adjust the difficulty mining ability, and it could be beneficial to smaller mining farms, potentially. But another thing I wanted to also talk about why they could be facing more issues is their legal problems that have been going on. So in addition to just their staff cuts and other problems, they're also facing two class action lawsuits. So according to the filing submitted by the North District Court of California, the product was difficult to configure. Oh, this is referring what happened to people that were buying the ASIC miners. So you had Gore Gavorkian, who allegedly purchased their devices. He said that there was a time lapse during a substantial amount of time. They were saying that he couldn't get the device linked up, and while it was basically not properly configured, it went into full power mode, costed him money, and they're thinking that it was mining on behalf of Bitmain. So that's the first one. The second, more recent lawsuit was initiated by United Corp, a development and management firm with a focus on telecommunications and information technology. So it reported that it's suing Bitmain along with Bitcoin.com, Roger Ver, and Kraken Exchange, which reportedly planned a scheme to take control over the Bitcoin Cash network during the November hard fork. I don't know if you remember, Bitcoin Cash was allocating all of people's hash power that they bought. They purchased it with their own money, and they had it for Bitcoin, and they were just diverting it to Bitcoin Cash. They were like, oh, we're just going to let you guys know, even though you paid for this, but we're going to use it to mine Bitcoin Cash. So that is a lot of stuff going on with Bitmain. Drop me a comment below. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a good thing for crypto? I mean, in a sense, if Bitmain was to sort of, dissipate over time, it would allow more smaller mining farms to have an opportunity to actually be able to be successful, right? So it's just something to consider, but we don't know. This has never really happened yet, so this is the first time. So that's exactly why I wanted to bring that up in today's news. Now, getting on to actually some coin news of the day, a lot of people ask, what is the thing that we need the most? Well, we need that killer dApp, right? We need that thing that your mom, your grandma, your uncle, they're all going to just want to use. They're going to want to, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be so great. Well, during his speech at the 2018 DevCon 4, which we covered obviously when it happened, Joseph Lubin, the CEO of Censors and co-founder of Ethereum, addressed the current state of the Ethereum ecosystem, saying that the next killer app is much closer than you think. He was optimistic about the next generation of decentralized applications, saying that the next killer app will be a killer ecosystem. He pointed out that the robust suite of developer tools and protocols built over the last 2 years have provided developers with everything they need to build the next big thing in tech. So, Ethereum's second iteration has brought the idea of Web3 closer than ever, enabling the creation, issuance, distribution, exchange, and management of so many different kinds of crypto assets. So he actually goes on to say that he thinks Ethereum is the killer ecosystem the industry has been waiting for, calling it an ecosystem that will transform global economic, social, and political systems. So while one could argue that Lubin's praise for Ethereum is nothing short of biased, okay, because, you know, he did co-found the thing, decentralization is the next killer app, one that's meant to stay. So just as the internet experienced its ups and downs in the early 2000s, the blockchain industry is going through the cycle, ready to change the world as we know it. So what do you guys think? Is Ethereum the killer dApp? Yes or no? I want to know what you guys think. I mean, personally, it's done a lot. It really has. I mean, people like to, you know, I used to not like Ethereum when I first got involved. Honestly, I think when you first get involved in crypto, you tend to have a lot of biases towards a lot of things, and then you get involved in all these different coins, and then you kind of like chill back for a second, and then you're like, wait, okay, maybe these aren't that great, but we could fix it. We could work on it, right? So let me know. What do you think? Is Ethereum the killer dApp? Yes or no? Curious to hear what you have to say about that. Also, I don't know how I forgot to mention this the other day because I retweeted it on my Twitter, but I wanted to let you guys know that the new Brave desktop has been released today. This is version 0.5.1 with more improvements to Brave rewards. Now contributions and tips go to Brave verified creators only, after that guy made such a big fuss about getting free tips, right? So now it only goes to verified people, etc. And the reward system has been fixed. So if you guys haven't downloaded Brave browser yet, I have a link below. Check it out, guys. I'm a verified publisher, so I'm already doing my best to, you know, kickstart the decentralized revolution. So check that out below, guys. Also talking about Hyperledger, not something we bring up. I'm just going to say this really quick. They are accelerating their blockchain fabric integration by enhancing their blockchain-based technology platform with their latest release called Fabric 1.4 LTS. So Hyperledger Fabric has been accelerating the development and deployment of blockchain technology at its core, and the introduction of Fabric version 1.4 LTS represents its first long-term support release. Now, this is something that came out as well. So we have to talk about China's internet watchdog, right? So a policy that will require blockchain companies to register the identities of their users has just been passed in China, effectively removing all anonymity of the technology and what it has provided to the users. So according to Sixth Tone, the Cyberspace Administration of China, an internet watchdog tasked with censoring online content, has passed the regulation for managing blockchain information services. The regulation comes into effect on February 15th and will apply to all companies in the country branded as a blockchain information service provider. Why are they asking you to provide your identity for something that's just a blockchain information service provider? I don't understand that. All newly established companies will have 10 working days to register with the Cyberspace Administration, providing their names, service type, and server administration. So the policies clause that garnered the most media attention was the part that required individuals who use blockchain services to provide their identities to the government. People using any type of blockchain-based service will need to provide their national identity card number or phone number to avoid fines. And this is exactly the type of crap that I don't know. I just think it holds us back, man. So before we go, I wanted to end on this little bit of positivity that came out from Tim Draper. We know he's a permabull, right? But he had this article that came out, and it was on CoinDesk, and I just want to read a couple excerpts because it's really something that I think we should hear. So, many industries will go through fundamental changes, he begins. To adapt to the advent of this new way of thinking, people will have to learn that the bank, being the trusted third party for centuries, will soon be replaced by computers that now monitor their holdings through the blockchain. Banking will be simpler, safer, and easier than relying on people to do the monotonous work in some brick and mortar facility. It is interesting to note that countries, now recognizing that they are in competition with one another, are trying to make sure that they win the Bitcoin economy. The smartest of these are either allowing Bitcoin to prosper or recognize that they need a light torch in regulating Bitcoin to attract all the creativity, money, and startups that are flooding into the field. So, you know, maybe not stuff like this, maybe. The US was wise to leave the internet unregulated and free because all the internet entrepreneurs created startups domestically, and the economy around the internet blossomed. Keeping its regulatory hands light should help innovators stay in the US. And what we saw the US doing was actually scaring a lot of people in the blockchain space, and we saw a lot of projects leaving. which was not good. So the long-term vision for Bitcoin is to give the world economic emancipation. The potential, if Bitcoin is only limited by the imagination of the entrepreneurs who work to drive this new virtual currency. That was definitely supposed to say the potential of Bitcoin. However, if you guys see this, it's a typo. It's not me. It's a typo. Okay. Just reading what it was there. So that being said, guys, it has been a tough year. Thank you so much for everybody that went on the poll on Twitter the other day. So it looks like 77% said that you lost less than 25% since you got in. 30% lost between 25% and 75% since they got into crypto. 52% more than 75%. And just 11% actually said that they're up in crypto. So this was interesting. If you guys aren't following me, by the way, on Twitter, it's at TheCryptoZombie. I always do polls and stuff like this all the time. So looking at what some of you guys had to say, just because I'm curious before we get on out of here. So you say, before crypto, my life was boring. Now it's a ride of emotion. 70% wrecked, but bullish about the tech. It's going to be a bright future for all of us. I agree. So I'm in the game to win. I don't have anything for retirement. I believe crypto will be the answer. Lesson learned have been many. Top 2, patience and not letting emotions influence your decisions. That's a good point, Chuck, as well. I believe crypto falls perfectly into the evolution of money. Up in Bitcoin since I've been buying all year. That's actually true. My Bitcoin value's up while my dollar value's down, which is interesting. Yeah, awesome. Buckle up your seats. So it looks like everybody had a lot of comments. Our only king, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, holds his Spartan crypto reserve. You guys are great. So moving on, thinking about it, 2017, this is a great picture, by the way. I don't know who the heck built this or for what purpose this sidewalk was designed, but it's a really good example of how we got a little bit sidetracked, didn't really make a lot of sense, but now we're back on track. It's 2019. Let's get this. It's Sunday. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. This video's already gone on for way too long, so I don't want to hold you guys up anymore. Thank you for everybody that came back. Friendly reminder, Ledger Nano X is still offering their Genesis Block Edition, available for pre-order. As you guys know, I do have links in the description for this. It helps the channel. Doesn't cost you a thing. Also, don't forget, Brave Browser just uploaded if you want. I am a verified publisher. If you guys, hate watching ads, well, download Brave Browser. So, that being said, that's it for today, guys. You guys are amazing. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, hitting that bell notification, signing up for the blockchain brief, joining the free Telegram group. Whatever, man, just leaving me a comment. I appreciate you here. That's really all. As long as you show up, just show up. That's the most important thing. That's all I care about. Freaking love you. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. That being said, my name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.